Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation at White Plains. Welcome to a home for liberal religion. Welcome to a community where we can explore together our dreams and possibilities. We gather in the light of four truths. It's a blessing you were born. It matters what you do. Your experience of the divine is true. And an important reminder, you don't have to go it alone. Those watching on Zoom can find an order of service on our website, CUUCWP.org. For those here in person, if you have not already done so, please silence your phones. If you are visiting us for the first time online this morning, please take a moment to click the link in the chat and fill out our visitor form. Let us know how you'd like to be connected. If you're new and visiting in person, we invite you to stop by our welcome table and say hello. Later in the service, we will share the joys and sorrows of our individual lives. For those here in person, please take a moment to add yours to the book in the back of the sanctuary. For those on Zoom, please type yours in the chat.
Good morning. Please join us in saying our chalice lighting words written by Kathy Williams. As we light this chalice, we come as we are, traveling our own journey, yet yearning to be connected, reminded of our own connection to the divine and to this human family. Let us light this chalice seeking joy, truth, healing, faith, comfort, and transcendence.
Good morning. I am the Reverend Danielle Lindstrom. My pronouns are she, hers, and it is good. It is good to be together here in the warmth of this community. Our opening reading from Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. God is neither good nor evil, neither loving nor hating. God is power. God is change. We must find the rest of what we need within ourselves, in one another, in our destiny. I invite you now to rise in body and in spirit, to join in singing our first hymn, hymn number 1028 in the teal hymnal, Fire of Commitment.
From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze,
morning. I'm over here again today. And for those of you sitting here, Julie is going to turn the book around and she's going to turn the pages so that you can see them there. And it's really important that you see the pages because this story doesn't have a lot of words. And so we're going to talk about what we see in the pictures. Okay? Ready? Oh, look at this. What are they doing? Swimming. Doesn't that look nice? This is a boy named Julian, and this is his Nana, and those are mermaids. Let's turn the page. Julian loves mermaids. What's Julian doing here on the next page? What's Julian doing? Is he playing? Terry, you can turn the page. There we go. What's Julian doing here? Playing. Looks like he's getting ready for something, maybe? Let's see the next page. Wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What do you see? A lot of fish. What else do you see? Maybe an octopus? Yeah. What else? Anything else? Stingray. Stingrays are so cool. You did? All right, what is it? A catfish. Very good. All right, let's look at the next page. What do you see here? She or he, they're a mermaid. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? It looks a little scary. It's big, right? I might be scared to see that in the water, too. Let's look at the next page. Nana says, "Let's go, honey. This is our stop." "Nana," Julian says, "did you see the mermaids?" "I did," said Nana. "Look, they're waving goodbye. They went to see them off." Let's see what's on the next page. "I saw them. I saw the mermaids." Nana says, "Abuela," Julian says, "I am also a mermaid." Are any of you mermaids? Are you? Yeah. Then Nana says in the next screen, "I'm going to go take a bath. You be good." Let's see what happens next. Julian has a good idea. What do you suppose Julian is up to? Maybe he's trying to be a mermaid. Let's see. Let's turn the page. Look here. What did Julian do right there? He took the curtain. Yes, he's got the curtain. Let's see what happens. "Oh," says Nana. "Uh-oh," says Julian. Do you think she's going to be mad? Okay, we have one yes and one no. Let's see. Look how wonderful Julian looks. Nana says, "Come here, mijo." Let's see the next page. "For me, abuela?" "For you, Julian." Do you see what she's giving him? Yeah, a necklace. They look like maybe pearls. And here they're heading out on the next page. Where do we suppose they're going? Yeah, swimming. Maybe swimming. That's a possibility. Let's turn the page and find out. And Julian asks, "Where are we going?" "You'll see," says Abuela. Let's see the next page. Look, Mermaids, whispers Julian. Look at all the mermaids. Look how beautiful they are. Let's turn the page. Like you, mijo, says Nana. Let's join them. Look at all the beautiful. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah. And they're different. Yes, they're all different costumes. So on the next page, they join them. Look, it looks like maybe they're having a parade or something. Do you remember these three over here on the right? Where do you remember them from? The train, yeah. All right, let's turn the page. Oh, look. Look at all the mermaids. Aren't they beautiful? Do you have a favorite one? Which one? This one? The one, on the bottom with the pink? Okay. That one's your favorite too? So beautiful. So beautiful. And that is our story this morning.
Please stay seated and join me in singing the children out. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love. In our faith tradition, the act of giving is not just about financial support. It is a tangible expression of our commitment to the principles of compassion, justice, and service. The generosity we show our neighbors is an important demonstration of the work we do as Unitarian Universalists. Every contribution, no matter how large or small, is a testament to our collective dedication to creating a more equitable and compassionate world. For September, we share the plate with the Interfaith Council of New Americans Westchester, a coalition of CUUC and other local congregations that welcomes and resettles people who have been forced to flee their home countries. We are grateful to support their good works. Thank you for your kindness, your compassion, and your commitment to making CUUC and the world a better place. Your support truly makes a difference.
Good morning. I didn't want September to pass without playing for you Tchaikovsky's Piece of the Month. This is a festive piece full of horn calls which seem to summon us to the renewed busyness of autumn. Return to school, the gathering of community here at church, the life of inner illumination as the outward light of the sun starts to turn away with the change of season.
part of being in community is sharing our lives with one another, sharing our joys, our sorrows. If you're joining us online, you are invited to share your joy or sorrow in the chat to be read aloud during our time of sharing, this time for prayer. If you are here in person, you are invited to share your joy or sorrow at our little table back there. You can indicate if you would like to talk with someone more about it. You can light a candle, take some time to share into this space. We hold this sacred time in our co-created services to feel this connection to one another. Will you join me in a deep breath? We begin with sharing the joys and sorrows on our hearts. Spirit of life, may we begin in gratitude. Gratitude for this place, these people around us, these folks joining us online, connection so strong we can feel it even if we are far apart. We lift into this love all of those who are suffering the effects of war, Gaza and Israel, Ukraine and Russia, Lebanon, all areas of conflict, of hunger, injustice. I lift into this love the family and the community of Marcellus Williams, all of those working to abolish the death penalty in the United States. We lift into this love all of the joys, all of the sorrows, all of the in-between. So much of life is in the in-between. We bring that here to be reminded that we don't have to hold that alone. I share in the spirit of prayer these words from Black Liturgies from Cole author Riley, this prayer for agnostics. Unknowable God, we do not know to whom we pray or why we pray, when the truth is we are creatures of uncertainty. If there is any truth to the divine, may it be that you are loving and kind and disinterested in how much belief I am able to muster on any given day. If there is love in you, may it be a love that remains near, even when the one you love is oblivious to your nearness. God, if you're near, will you protect and keep us? Keep us from ever being too proud to ask for this help. And if your prayers are spoken into the void, may we find healing and self-knowledge as we hear our words ourselves, that in them we could encounter our deepest longings and fears and be compelled to ask for help, however uncertain that help may be. May we live in the protection of the unknown, that we would reserve the right to be curious and open, content with the mysteries of the cosmos, even if that does not preclude us from praying these words now. Even though we may not know to whom we pray, we are creatures of uncertainty. Will you join me now in a moment of quiet to add what is on our hearts to this shared sacred space? For our reading this morning, it might be familiar to some folks, and I just want to do a quick plug for journey groups. Is anybody here part of a journey group? Yeah, we have over 90 people involved in journey groups, which is incredible. Journey groups are our small group ministry program. Each month we have a theme, and our theme for September has been embracing possibility. So if you are interested in this practice of deep sharing and deep listening, please let me know. We'll get you connected with one of these groups. And I say all of this because our reading was featured in our September's Journey Group packet. Can we please give the police departments to the grandmothers? This is based on a poem by Coretta Scott King. Author Junata Petrus imagines a radically positive future where community caring comes first, where history is taught, and where future generations are cherished and nurtured. For our reading, we share this video of the author reading from the children's book, which we also have up here if you wanted to see it closer. They took the poem, turned it into a children's book. I was able to connect with the author, and we are sharing the video this morning with her permission. So begins our reading.
So can we please give the police department to the grandmothers, written by me and illustrated by Kristen Uroda, a brilliant Detroit person. And I'm just gonna get into it. Can we please give the police departments to the grandmothers? Give them the salaries and the pensions and the city vehicles, but make them a fleet of vintage Corvettes, Jaguars and Cadillacs with white leather interiors, convertibles. Dig in the scene with the gangsta lean. Let the grandma's cars be badass. You would hear the old school jams like Patti LaBelle, Stevie Wonder, Anita Baker, and Al Green. You would hear Sweet Honey in the Rock harmonizing on We Who Believe in Freedom Cannot Rest, bumping out the speakers, and they got the booming systems. If you are up to mischief, they will pick you up swiftly in their sweet rides and look at you until you catch shame. She will ask you if you are hungry, and you say yes, and of course you are. And on the dashboard, you will see brown faces like yours, shea buttered and loved up, and there will be no precincts. Just love temples with spaces to meditate and eat delicious food, mangoes, blueberries, nectarines, cornbread, peas and rice, fried plantain, fufu yams, greens, okra, pecan pie, salad and lemonade, things that will make your mouth water and your soul arrive. All the hungry bellies will know warmth. All the children will expect love. The grandmas will help you with homework, practice yoga with you, teach you how to make jambalaya and coconut cake from scratch. When you're sleepy, a grandma will hum and rub your back while you drift off. A song that she used to have the record of when she was your age. She remembers how it felt to be you and be young and not know the world that good. Grandma is a sacred child herself, one who's just circled the sun enough times to enter into the ripeness of her cronehood. And she wants your life to be sweeter. When you're wilding out because your heart is broke or you don't have what you need, a grandma will take your hand and lead you to her gardens. You can lie down amongst the flowers. Her grasses, roses, dahlias, irises, lilies, collards, kale, eggplants, blackberries. She wants you to know that you are safe and protected, limitless, sacred, sensual, divine, and free. The grandmas are the original warriors, wild since birth, comfortable in loving fiercely. They have fought so that you don't have to, not in the same ways at least. So give the police departments to the grandmas. They're fearless, classy, and actualized, blossom from love. They wear what they want and they say what they please. Believe that. There won't be noise citations when the grandmas ride through our streets, blasting Erykah Badu, Nina Simone, Marvin Gaye, Alice Coltrane, Jimi Hendrix, KRS-One, all that good music. The kids gonna hula hoop to it and sell them lemonade made from heirloom pink lemons and maple syrup. The cars will be solar powered with no carbon footprints. The grandmas designed the technology themselves. At night, the grandmas will park the cars in a circle so all can sit in them with the tops down. You'll look at the stars, talk about astrological signs, and what to plant tomorrow based on the moon's mood. They will help you memorize Audre Lorde and James Baldwin quotes. And a grandma will always look you in the eye and acknowledge the light in you with no hesitation. She loves you fiercely forever. The grandmothers see the pain in our bravado, the confusion in our anger, the depth behind our coldness. Grandma knows what oppression has done to our souls and is going to change it one love temple at a time. The grandmothers have no fear. That's it, baby. Thank y'all.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and the keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. I don't much care for science fiction. And it has been a point of contention in my household because Matthew, my spouse, does care for science fiction. Don't ask how many times we have tried to read Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles together. I guess I am more of a fantasy person. If another world is going to exist, then there better be magic and hopefully dragons, rather than outer space and robots. And now I apologize for this gross overgeneralization of both literary forms. But this summer, I was fascinated by the fact that this book was set in 2024. I read Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents. I had heard this all that you touch, you change quote before, but never knew the context, never understood the world in which that phrase was built. The story is one of survival. The protagonist, Lauren Oya Alamina, is going to survive. Her family lives in a walled-off community outside of what was Los Angeles. Climate, disaster, corruption, there's a plague-like disease and more devastated the country and turns it into this almost unrecognizable place. Early on in the book, her community is burned to the ground with few survivors. She creates Earthseed. Earthseed as her religion, her belief system, an active theology where God is change. God is not personal. In her world, God is not love, but constant change, something she could rely on in her life. Things were going to change. But with that constant change, people can influence, impact, and partner with to do work for the better. She offers if God then doesn't care about people in her theology, then people need to care about each other. And she uses this to rebuild her community. In her belief system, God is a force, and it is up to them to be active partners with what happens, with the changes that are inevitable, and through commitment and connection and action, they can impact what happens, what's possible after all. We might call a similar idea process theology. Lauren Oya Alamina writes, I am going to survive. The narrative of her time and place, right? It impacted her present, but allowed space to imagine a different future, a different way of understanding the self and relationships, right? To provide something as she worked to rebuild. She worked with those around her to accomplish what she explains as Earthseed's destiny to take root among the stars. We are constantly changing. I asked earlier this week on Facebook how many people had a career aptitude test in school, and do you remember what it said? So thank you to everyone who played along with that question. The answers ranged from forester to a surprising military, like a lot of military, farmer, animal husbandry, to a couple funeral directors. Overall, the career aptitude tests had limited success. Few of them were able to actually tell us what we were going to do in the future, though if you took it later in life, it seemed to be a little bit more accurate. I remember taking mine in 8th grade and being so curious. We carried around the results as if this test had given us a crystal ball into the future. The career tests, the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, all of these tools offer us touchstones to understanding who we are now, how we operate, and who we might become, offering insight into the narratives we create about who we are, what we're capable of, or what we might become. Last week, I shared this quote from world builder Adrienne Marie Brown: "We have to pull off a lot of miracles if we are going to save human life on this planet at this point. So we could all feel like failures all the time, but that's not going to save our lives. We have to keep learning from everything we're doing, have to keep improving and how to keep growing. The narrative, right? Are we flying or are we falling? Yes, probably, and both at the same time. In order to survive, in order to understand our lives, we need narratives that help us understand our current moment. What are the stories we're telling about now? And the narratives we tell, the narratives we hear, become our benchmark for the future. Growing up, pretending to be a spy was a very popular game. Right? My friends and I would peek around corners and we'd have our little headsets. We'd talk into our watches. Did anybody else play that? Right? We talked to our watch, trying to figure out the ever and important and always changing mystery of what is for dinner. In their TED Talk, futurist and innovation expert Angela Orguntala shares this example of talking into the watches. There was a time when talking into your watch was peak technology. That was the future, right? And now, however many years later, I could call my mom right now and talk to her on my watch. She explains it as a self-fulfilling prophecy. We talked into our watches enough that it became a benchmark for the future, and here we are. Octavia Butler inspired generations of science fiction writers, especially young writers of color, to tell their stories of future worlds, of future possibility. Octavia's Brood is a book that brings together science fiction stories from social justice movements. Co-editor Walida Imarisha writes that all organizing is science fiction. Quoting from the book, "Whenever we try to envision a world without war, without violence, without prisons, without capitalism, we are engaging in science fiction. All organizing is science fiction. We want organizers and movement builders to be able to claim the vast space of possibility, to be birthing visionary stories, using their everyday realities and experiences of changing the world. They can form the foundation for the fantastic, and we hope build a future where the fantastic liberates the mundane." And quote, "All organizing is science fiction." In our faith community, we have been talking a lot about beloved community. We've heard that term, beloved community, but what does that look like in practice? What does the world look like? Right? How are we organizing, supporting one another? What do our congregations and our community feel like day to day in that beloved community, in that world? In an interview, and I thank Tracy, our director of Lifespan Religious Education and Faith Development, she shared this resource with me. In an interview, Elise Boulding, a sociologist, author, and major contributor to creating the academic discipline of peace and conflict studies, she explains some of her work, and quoting directly from her, she writes, In the peace movement after World War II, I remember going to a conference in Sweden and asking the disarmament experts, if we really had disarmament, how would the world function? Not a single person on the panel had anything they could say. I realized that the peace movement was working on peace without knowing what a peaceful world would look like. They didn't know what they were working for. It would just be a world with no weapons and no war. But what kind of society would it be? What kind of institutions? So she created workshops where people would work backwards. Start with what the world would look like with your organizing in 50 years. What would need to happen 10 years before that? What would need to happen 10 years before that? What would need to happen 10 years before that? Until you get a plan for what we need to be doing today in order to make that dream of 50 years from now possible. In our reading, can we please give the police departments to the grandmothers? We are invited into a world that doesn't exist, but is filled with community care, enough food for everyone, youth being met with understanding, an embrace of identity, and a deep commitment to the larger love we so often talk about. How do we get to this world? We start by supporting our mermaids, loving our children and each other for who we are in this moment, knowing that narrative is ever growing and ever changing. Can we imagine a world with our UU values actualized? Can we imagine a beloved community for all people? What would that look like? More importantly, what would that feel like? What would that look like in 50 years? What about in 40 or 30 or 10? What do we need to do now? If you are excited about this kind of visioning, or if you are curious about what this might look like, join your community here for the UU Climate Justice Revival. On October 26th and 27th, we will be joining 300 other Unitarian Universalist congregations, some of which are having theirs this week, some of them are having it throughout the year, but we will be working to collectively reimagine a spirit-filled and liberatory future through conversations and workshops and organizing. Congregations will work together to realize climate justice and collective liberation in our communities. We'll practice some of this world creating, some of this visioning together. You will want to be there, I promise. More information in the eCommunitarian. The narratives we tell, the narratives we hear become our benchmark. If that's true, then it matters. It matters what stories we listen to, what stories we hear. At the end of her TED Talk, Angela Orguntala invites folks to consider where their benchmarks are coming from. If you are only hearing from one group of people, you are missing a lot of potential story, a lot of possibility. She invites us to turn to the stories and dreams from other countries, from poets, from science fiction, to grandmothers, to grandparents. She says, ask your grandmother what they want for the future. Not enough people are asking them anymore. Ask our children, turn to world music, to science. What are the stories about the future that are being told? What stories make us uncomfortable? What stories are we excited about? What are people's dreams? We have to start with a dream. I mentioned the career aptitude test in my middle school was a pretty big deal. We made it part of our identity for a while. I asked my two sisters, one of which is 6 years younger than me, one of which is 12 years younger, if they still remember their results, and they do. These results gave us these categories of what we might prefer, and then top 3 careers. My number 1 career? Motivational speaker. Shocking. So now, I do not think, this is important, that test did not predict the future. But for me in that moment, it affirmed a possibility. It affirmed a narrative, right? It affirmed the benchmark that became my future. I loved to help my friends, and I loved to talk. It affirmed these pieces of myself. It was a benchmark, it was a touchstone, it was something. How do the narratives we tell ourselves help inform our future? Help inform the possibility of what's to come? Because, beloveds, change is certain. How do we shape it? How do we partner with it? This is reading number 64 from Earthseed, to survive. To survive, let the past teach you. Past customs, struggles, leaders and thinkers, let these help you. Let them inspire you, warn you, give you strength, but beware. God is change. Past is past. What was cannot come again. To survive, know the past, let it touch you, then let the past go. The only lasting truth is change. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to rise in body and spirit, join in singing hymn 95 in the gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on
Please join me in saying the chalice extinguishing words. The chalice is extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and the hearts and the souls of each one of us. Let us carry the flame with us and share it with those we know, with those we love, and most especially with those we have yet to meet.
Good morning. I'm Ann Majak, one of this year's auction co-chairs, and I want to invite you on board as we sail the 7 seas this November 16th, Saturday evening, right here in our beloved sanctuary. Hopefully you received our mailing a couple weeks back with the flyer about donations and the beige card for tickets. The auction is our biggest fundraiser, save, of course, Canvas, and it's one of the most fun nights of the year. There will be something for everyone, starting with appetizers, drinks, silent auction, and grab bags, then on to a sit-down dinner, followed by our live auction. And of course, our famous bid and bump board on the side windows will be bustling all evening long. There's several ways you can participate and help out. Today I'm going to ask you to consider 4 ways. First, do you have something to be auctioned? Our flyer gives lots of ideas, and new ones are particularly welcome. Think outside the box. Can you offer an unusual or unique experience, or conduct a tour of someplace? Teach your favorite hobby, offer homemade desserts and breads, theater, sporting tickets, concert tickets, babysitting, you get it. Anything, something new. Or host a dinner or special event for the bid and bump board. Check with Patricia at our table in the hall for donation forms, more ideas, and of course, questions. Second, do you have a special merchant or vendor that you feel comfortable asking? Asking for a donation, a restaurant, a salon, a recreational facility. These add to the diversity of our offerings. And again, we have donation forms and solicitation letters in the hall. Third, buy your ticket. Advanced reservations are a must. We reached capacity last year. So please get your reservation in. Tickets are $60 a person and should be reserved for the week before, so November 10. Costumes are strongly encouraged, but certainly not mandatory. Child care will be provided in the nursery if you reserve your space. All kids will dine on pizza. So please help our planning and buy your tickets early. We'll be around during coffee hours. And fourth and final, join our committee. There's lots of work to go around, from helping with decorations to setting and setup to creating goodies in the kitchen. Feel free to reach out to me or other committee members if you're interested in being part of this fun endeavor. We'll have a sign-up posted online and also in the hall. So it's time to get out your donation form, plan your costume, and get ready to sail. Saturday, November 16th, 5:30, right here in the auction. All aboard.
Thank you for being with us today. The CUUC Reproductive Rights Social Justice Team asks, what do you know about Proposition 1, which will be on the November ballot in New York State? We will be hosting information about Prop 1, also called the Equal Rights Amendment, next Sunday after service. State Senator Shelley Meyer and a representative from Planned Parenthood will be presenting. Come find out more, including how to talk with your neighbors about this topic. Childcare will be available. Today, after service, there will be a conversation for newcomers. Newcomers are invited to grab a coffee and snack, then meet Reverend Danielle, Mary Cavallero, and Kathy Williams in the lobby. From there, we'll walk to room 41 downstairs in the green hallway. Childcare will be available in the nursery. Our weekly e-communitarian, our e-newsletter, and printed weekly announcement handout offer many details of activities here at CUUC. Take a moment to discover all the interesting offerings awaiting you within our community. It has been a gift to be together today. After we enjoy our parting music, please spend a few minutes talking with someone you don't know, and may we all know the blessings of friendship.
I share one more reading from Earthseed, the religion outlined in Parable of the Sower. Create no images of God, except the images that God has provided. They are everywhere, in everything. God is change, seed to tree, tree to forest, rain to river, grubs to bees, bees to swarm, from one many, from many one, forever uniting, growing, dissolving, forever changing. The universe is God's self-portrait. We leave this space reminded of our connection to the divine, to this human family. May we take with us, carry with us joy, truth, healing, faith, comfort, until we return again. Our worship is over. Our service begins. Go now in peace and know that you are loved.